Hello, Chevra. Welcome back to the short vort. Parshas Vayetze, with the sun shining behind me. One of my favorite psukim. I find myself saying that a lot. I feel like maybe because I like Torah. But one of my favorite psukim in all of Tanakh is found in Parshas Vayetze. Yaakov goes to sleep, right? We know he has the dream with the ladder. He's terrified. He's running away from his family. He doesn't know what's going to be. He's going off to find a wife, to start a family of his own, to start a life of his own. And he's afraid that, like, how am I going to bring God into all of this? My life's going to be filled. I'm leaving, the shelter, the protective umbrella of family and community, and I'm going off and I'm starting anew, and I'm terrified. And, how am I going to deal with that stress? Is God going to be with me in that space? And he has the ladder with the dream with the ladder, and V'nei Hashem nitzav alav, and God is there, and he speaks to him, and he says, I'm going to be with you, I'm going to take care of you. And he wakes up, Vayira, Vayomar, he is filled with dread. And he says, Vayomar, Manora makom hazeh, how awesome is this place? Like, literally goes into surfer dude, channeling his inner Spicoli, lahavdil, from Fast Times, lahavdil. And he says, Ein zekim ve'esalukim v'zeh shamayim. This is the house, none other than the house of God. And these are the gates to heaven. As I said this morning in our shir, that's actually the cornerstone. It says it as we walk into the young Israel of Scarsdale. Ein zekim beit Elohim v'zeh shamayim. This is none other than the house of God. Because he realizes, like, what? God's going to be with me. Even in the stress, even in the anxiety, even in the uncertainty, God is going to be there with me. And I've always wondered, why just say Vayira Vayomar? So I could say, well, it means he was, awed. He was in awe. You could say that. He was in awe in feeling this. And he says, Manorah makom hazeh. How awesome is this place? Why would it say that twice? Vayira, we know, also really means, it also means, like Yirat Shamayim, right? In that literal sense, it means he was filled with dread. He was filled with fear. Why? Because I wonder if perhaps Yaakov was saying to himself, my God, literally, I never realized that I could find Hashem, that I could find God, that I could find Kedusha, holiness, in the most unlikely of places. That God is there with me all the time. He's not only there with me during that period, that hour and a half or 2 hours or 2.5 hours, depending on your sleep schedule, that you're there on Shabbat morning. He's not just there with you during that 35 minutes that you're there on the weekday morning. It's not just there with you when you're at that little shir. Hashem is with you always. Hashem is with us always. Hashem is in it with us when we're stressing over how we're going to deal with this situation, how we're going to deal with that situation, whether it's emotional stress, whether it's financial stress, whether it's familiar, whatever it may be. Hashem is there with us. It's like the famous saying of the Kotzker Rebbe. Where can I find God? Someone asked him. And the Kotzker just looked at him and said, hey guys, where can I find God? You can find God wherever you let him in. You just have to open up and be willing to see him. May we all be zocheh to find God, even in the most unlikely of places. See you in shul.